Parable of a summer. Another call, email, task, list, purchase, repair, reconstruction, focus, meeting, movement. Another thing. Above all, in all this, covering all this, another thing to do. What might it mean in an ontological sense? It is, I'd say, Roth's dream of endlessness. The assumption on some primordial psychological level, owing to each past day's renewal of present, that we will never end. At some point, it all seems to say, we will reach the paradisical terminus of completion, the plenitude or platitude of everything done. But for most of us, I dare say, looking back, it will never have happened. Paradise not lost, but unmaterialized. More of an elysium of shadowy tasks in the foreground of missed existence. More Microsoft Office than the word of life's real presence. Sisyphus in the half-life of his daily incline, daily decline. Up above us, like some call of techno-bioluminescence we've lately developed, the jellyfish of new communication floats in the ether of near space, moored to its satellites. It is clear that a large proportion of humanity already cannot elude it for more than a few days, or contemplate living without it. Bird watching is subtle, one of the eye's subtle arts. An art, too, of the ear, and extremely ancient, the stuff of augury and omen. It is strange to think that these creatures might be the shrunken dwarves of pterodactyls and dinosaurial color. You can see, though, why many will see nothing in it. Its narrow visual range, its endless repetitions. A few swallows pirouetting like jets through the morning yard, their blue-black backs, their white bellies, the secretive flash of the golden oriole, an owl taking wing out of the almonds against the last light of the valley, flocks of little brown birds, unidentified, seeking gleanings at raked dawn on a gravelly old road between parched grasses, disturbed into flight by an opened door. The strange grace of those house bats tumbling headlong through the same yard as soon as dark falls. Up from Africa in April, the hoarse serenade of nightingales, trilling and squeaking in the crisp and starry night. Could there really be much in it? But it teaches you to attend, to wait on the small thing and the little surprise, to abandon the pseudo-cosmic disease for the narrow reaches of a microcosmos, to plumb intently, as with augury or Newton, just one moment's becoming on the ground of physical being, where that small surprise can take wing into the imaginations of one's full attention. And on almost every occasion of such attention, there are surprises. Like one time when a small bird with rufous back, buff belly, and black mask alighted in sunshine on the almond sapling in front of the terrace. The species is common, if still unidentified, but I had never quite noticed the marvel of its glossy back, its rufous sheen. Till that minute on the morning in question, I might not have stepped one leg up on the wall of the terrace and looked in that direction. I might have been thinking of emails. Updike has spoken of the increasing dephysicalization of contemporary culture. Is this then now the one globalized dominant ontology ideology? If so, in this sense, for me in any event, a rufous gloss must always trump or out-trump any email. People in the village are always giving each other little gifts. It is a kind of barter of goodwill and neighborly feeling. One morning I saw an old neighbor's wife meet Yasinka, a younger neighbor, on the crumbling tarmac that runs by our house through weathered stone walls. The Journovo church clock was just striking its 9 chimes. After the loud and public greetings that are typical, she immediately gave Yasinka a plastic bag of tomatoes from her garden. Whether the tomatoes were intended for Yasinka or whether they were to be unloaded on the first friend or neighbor she encountered on the road was unclear. It always is. Another morning, our neighbor Petar, who seldom visits, suddenly appeared around the corner of the house from the tarmac lane. The terrace was still in shade, and I was taking an early breakfast alone. He was shirtless and in sandals, with a straw hat like Huck Finn's. He brought me a bag of 2 cucumbers and 4 tomatoes, of the heart-shaped local variety, always very good. Perhaps it was also an occasion to remark on my 3 haystacks, that after my last misjudgment with petrol in May, scorching the cypress, they should not be burnt until October. The island's summer tinderbox of scrub forest, parched vegetation, and grassy olive groves was a perennial threat. His gift lifted my spirits at the start of another hot day. It was like a cool mental dew in the optimism of the morning. Its common quality over time across village space partly informs and partly inspired this prose. A black ant scampers across the creamy white of a limestone jam. Dalmatian, light and dark. Everything is interesting. Later, not far from the stone threshold, another ant, or maybe the same one, hauls its awn of straw with Sisyphean purpose towards the Eocene's version of our own technohive. Journovo, Croatia, summer 2007.